I'm Jay Taylor. I'm the editor of a newsletter called Jay Taylor's Gold, Energy, and Tech Stocks. I'm here at the Metals Investor Forum in Toronto. It is the third day of March 2023, and I'm really happy to be with Dr. Bill Pearson. He is the Executive Vice President Exploration of Eloro Resources, and in case you haven't heard of Eloro Resources, you certainly do need to pay attention to what's going on there, because this is a company that's building a world-class deposit, silver, tin, rich, polymetallic project in Bolivia, and it is truly a monster, and one of my favorite stocks, and one of that I cover diligently in my newsletter. Bill, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, pleasure to be here to give you an update.
Yeah, an update, and we're going to have a maiden resource pretty soon, which I think is going to I think it's going to get some attention. I just truly don't believe that the market understands the magnitude of what you've got there. Talk to us, just give us the whole story in a nutshell.
You're absolutely right. I think if you looked at our recent press release where we showed the overall geophysical picture, we're looking at an intrusive volcanic system that is about 5 kilometers by 3 kilometers. So the drilling that we've done thus far, which is about 85,122 holes, is actually only a subset of this massive system. And it's important to point out too, in those 120 holes, 2 holes, we haven't missed on 1 hole.
Yeah,
and we've had some extraordinary intercepts up to over 400 meters. So
yeah,
this is a true giant deposit. And what's really exciting about it is we actually have, we have 1 deposit in the bank, Santa Barbara. It's silver, it's tin, zinc, lead.
And that's where your maiden resource will come
exactly.
from. Right.
But as we recently announced after our financing in January, we're going after what we believe is that deeper tin porphyry. And the new property we acquired to the southwest of Iska Iska, Cassitarita, it doesn't have a kilometer thick volcanic mountain on top of it.
Oh.
So, and we've got some very interesting geochemical results, and that's within that big 5 by 3 kilometer envelope. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. We've got lots of evidence that the tin is there, obviously, in Santa Barbara. Our DSBU-3, which was a hole off to the west, had 0.22% tin over 373 meters. We've had some holes which have had classic high-grade tin, like 9 meters of 3%.
Wow.
And if you look at our 1,000-meter holes that we've drilled in the center of Santa Barbara, guess what? At the bottom, bingo, back into tin.
Wow. At depth, the tin more at depth.
And that's exactly where our 3D inversion magnetic model says the intrusion's probably there.
Bill, could you give us a real brief sort of an overview of the tin markets? I mean, it's something that I don't pay that much attention to. There are not many places in the world where tin is found, but real quickly, what about tin? What kind of value does it have? Is there a shortage of tin in the world? Is it something?
Well, if you look at all the supply projections and you know, tin is an unusual element. It forms very deep in the Earth's crust. Bolivia's crust is about 80 kilometers thick. So you have tin, Bolivia, China, Malaysia, Indonesia, a few other places. If you go and look at the International Tin Association, which most people don't even know exists, there are over 400 published scientific papers a month on potential uses of tin. So tin is all through the electronics, the chip industry, the solar industry. Virtually everything is using tin. And it has unique properties. If you think of tin cans, there's a reason why they put the tin on the steel.
Sure.
It doesn't rust.
Corrode,
Yeah, it doesn't corrode. So we think the outlook for tin is tremendous. And where in the world is there a new tin project? You got to come and see us.
Yeah. So you've got some tin with the silver, lead, and zinc, but the real rich, deep, you know, and the maiden resource is going to come from those higher level, you know. But now you're looking deeper towards the porphyry, as I understand it, where the tin where the deeper levels where the really rich tin is expected. And that's another story. That's going to come after your resource.
Absolutely.
You'll have some tin in the resource, but the real
Yes.
rich tin stuff is deeper into the south.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean, really the resource will have 4 major metals. There'll be silver, there'll be zinc, there'll be lead, and there'll be tin. And the proportions will depend on which part of the deposit, but overall, probably 25% plus or minus. But you're absolutely right. The big tin prize is deeper down.
Deeper down. Is it fair to say that just with silver alone, this could be one of the larger deposits in the world?
Absolutely.
Yeah, just at the silver, and maybe looking at a couple of ounces per ton on average?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think if you, obviously I don't speculate on tons, but
Yeah.
look at the dimensions I'm putting,
Right.
and those are real. And one of the things that people probably don't realize, which I keep talking about, is when you look at this deposit geophysically, we have lots of geophysical data, both magnetic and induced polarization. This is the most continuous electrical system I've ever seen.
You've ever seen, and
Yeah.
you've seen a lot of them.
It's telling you, hey, that what you're seeing in this hole 108 meters over, there's no break. It's consistent,
continuously.
continuous.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's one of the things that, indicated as a big system. The other thing that's important is to remember that a lot of our drilling is very wide space. We're talking 100-meter holes. We haven't missed on 100-meter
Wow.
holes.
Yeah.
So
That's very
what
exciting.
that's
Sorry.
telling me,
Yeah.
when we fill this in, you'll see the grade go up
Yeah.
because you're never going to miss the system,
Right.
but you're going to get much better representation of the high areas.
Well, Bill, you're the geologist, executive geologist there, and there's a market side of these stories as well. And Tom Larson, who is your chairman, done a remarkable job of keeping the share numbers down. You have a lot of good shareholders. I'm looking at management itself owns maybe around 24%, I think I saw. Crescat Capital, 12%, institutions overall, 36%. Those are the numbers I have. So there's 74 million shares or something like that. Not that many shares, to less than a $250 million market cap. But I think my way of thinking, that's probably cheap. You're the largest market cap company I've invited to the show, but I think you're perhaps one of the cheapest.
Well,
I don't know. Time will tell, but that's my view.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We certainly think there's lots of room to move up. I certainly, Tom's done a brilliant job on managing the cap structure. He and I have worked together for a number of years. I look after the rocks, he looks after the market. It's a good combination.
Sure. Yeah.
The other thing is too, as I've run and been involved in lots of juniors, if I'm not willing to put my skin in the game, why should I ask you?
Right. Right.
So
Good point.
we put our money in, we put a lot of the original, and Crescat, who came through Quinton Henning,
he loves the
was
story.
huge.
Yeah.
He came in early on and funded our original drilling, and so we haven't looked back since. So we are very leveraged. I'm delighted. We've just released that we're listed on TSX, started trading Monday. I think that will attract a lot more funds to look at us. It's going to be, I think, a significant MRE, but remember, it is only a progress report.
Right. It's a progress report, but I think it's going to help some people that aren't paying attention to start paying attention to it.
Yeah, absolutely. People are, they want to see things de-risked.
Yeah.
And I understand that. But certainly from a technical basis, it's one of the most remarkable continuous geological systems I've ever seen.
Right. And that's taking it, folks, from someone that's been around quite a few years doing with major projects and a lot of success in the past. Bill, I want to thank you so much for spending your time. I'm really excited about this story. I'm really pleased that you joined me here at the Metals Investor Forum. So.
Well, I'm delighted to catch up again, and I look forward to the next update after we get the
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's going to be very exciting. Thank you, Bill.